Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I call the meeting to order. Thanks for everybody that's here. We'll jump right to go back to our normal where we skip over the minutes and stuff like that and go right to Commonwealth so Matt can get out of here and go home. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, good evening, council. Several things on the agenda here tonight from us. Relating to the water project. We are this close to being finished. And actually will be after tonight if you guys approve this. So we have a contractor's change order. His last change order for the project. And I will explain what that is. Change order number 5 is. It is a modification to the chlorine injection point, along with adjustments to the controls associated with the new chlorine analyzer and chemical feed pumps. They were having some issues once they were installed, getting those exactly when they're supposed to disperse chlorine. Not too much chlorine. You got to have the right balance. So that was necessitated some new equipment, some new analyzer tweaks, and there's money there. It was grant money, so it's not costing the town anything. So we went ahead and authorized that. The engineer authorized it first, and then it would come to the town for approval as well. So that's change order number 5 from C&HM Excavating. So and that change order is in the amount of $9,547.38. That's $9,547.38.
Okay.
So
It's all fixed and running good now.
Yeah, we haven't had any problems with chlorine alarms or anything.
Only alarms I get when the generator turns on.
Yeah.
Kicks the pumps out. We just reset them on the phone, and
is that
yeah,
okay?
that's it.
All right.
Is that something I need to get with them guys on?
I think it's if the pump's running when the generator comes on, it'll kick it out. If it's not running, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
Because
because I
every
was
other Monday it does, and every other Monday it doesn't.
told that they needed to actually exercise, which meant shut down the power and run it off the generator. So if
Everything
it's
does-
something you can
does.
reset by your phone, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What happens is when it shuts the power off, there's like a 10-second delay, so it thinks that there's a fault in it, so it faults that pump out and turns the other one on. So when the generator comes back on, the other one starts, and you just have to reset it on your phone.
But you get the alert.
I get the alarm.
Yeah.
It calls me every Monday.
Beautiful.
Usually when it shuts off, and usually when it turns back on.
10
Okay.
o'clock in the morning and
Yeah,
it runs
okay.
for 15 or 20 minutes.
That's cool.
So, it exercises at the sewer plant too, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it exercises under load because I've never had any issues out there as far as the lift station
Okay.
or return pumps or anything.
Well, them guys will probably, because we got a contract with those guys, will probably be, right after the first of the year, they'll be back out to check them and everything. And I'll get with you. And if we want to exercise it differently, then that's fine. All I want to make sure is that we don't have a problem like we had last year when they didn't kick on at all. And then the pipes froze and wasn't good. So,
Not a
okay.
good thing.
Anybody have any other questions for Matt for that regarding the change order?
No.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve that change order number 5 in the amount of $9,547.38.
I make a motion to approve the change order.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
One for us, one for you. Thank you. That's the one you can have one of it, I'm supposed. We'll leave it to you.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, and back, again, relating to the water project, as you guys know, we've helped you submit.
Hang on one second. So on this water project, the contingency money, is there any contingency money left over?
I don't think so.
Okay.
According to this, no.
Okay.
So it zeroed out contract from, again, CH.
Okay. And then I did talk to Rob today and he said he thought the meters would be reimbursed by the end of the
They
month.
are. Well, I was gonna get to that, but,
Okay. Well, let's do that before we start on something else.
well, no, this is the same project. This is the final. This is,
Oh.
we help you submit these to SRF, remember?
Right.
We're gonna submit, this is contractor's application number 6.
Okay.
For final payment, and it is marked final. So
Okay.
that he's finished as of now. So, we are going to submit this to the SRF and then they reimburse him directly, similar to what we've always done throughout the project. So,
So that's SRF will reimburse us for the meters.
once this gets cut, this check gets cut, he gets paid, SRF is requiring the town, they want to come down and do a walkthrough.
Yep.
Then, once that walkthrough is complete, then the paperwork gets filed that it is complete, and then you will be reimbursed for the meters. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it could be the end of the month. With Thanksgiving,
It's coming.
it's coming. So,
Okay.
Optimistically, I'll say it'll be by the end of the month.
Okay.
How's that? But don't hold me to that.
Okay.
So, yep. So this will put the completion on the water project finally.
Awesome.
It was still one heck of a deal for the town.
It
Yes.
was indeed.
So, I just need approval on application number 6 from the C&HM Excavating Company. And this, amount due this application, we're gonna submit on their behalf for $19,589.39. It's 19,598.39.
98 or 89.
598.39.
Okay. All right.
So if you would, make a motion.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve pay application number 6 in the amount of $19,598.39.
Make a motion for pay application number 6.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, so yeah, you will eventually get your meter money.
Okay.
Just a little bit longer. So a few steps here to finish out.
All right.
And Tracy, I know you talked to Rob about a walkthrough with
Mhm.
SRF sometime next week.
Yeah, I told him anytime in
Okay,
between now and Thanksgiving to be fine.
okay,
So I'm here all the time.
yes. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you had a question or not.
No.
I'm
I was
sorry.
just
Okay.
staring at his YouTube.
Oh,
There you go.
It was moving.
There you go. Okay.
Okay, that's water.
Okay.
Now we're switching to roads.
Okay.
So we have a one and only change order from Dave O'Mara. This is relating to the community crossings project. These are the good kind of change orders. This is a decrease in the original contract price in the whopping amount of $35.74.
Wow.
Again, change order number 1 for Dave O'Mara. And this will be the one and only since they're finished paving. It's
$35 and
74 cents.
we get back.
No.
And along with that, the change order, then he's asking contractor's application for payment. So he is asking to be paid. Amount due this application is $74,861.43. So again, that is $74,861.43 to be paid to Dave O'Mara for the Community Crossings project paving Lafayette Street.
Okay.
So I assume we'll need a motion on that one too.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the change order number 1 in amount of negative $35.74.
I make a motion. I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. Then application for payment for Dave O'Mara in amount of $74,861.43.
Make a motion to pay Dave O'Mara.
Okay.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. So I'll sign that, but I'm still gonna talk to
Separate.
Robin
Yeah,
tomorrow
fine.
about
Talk to Robin.
what we talked about.
Yes. There's two separate documents for each.
Okay.
There's 2 places you sign on each document. That's what I'm trying to say.
Still gonna get me a stamp. Okay, so there's that.
Somewhere it says owner, Tracy.
Yep.
On there, down there. Okay. Took a minute to find for me. EJC form.
Okay. These other copies are just ours, right?
They're yours. Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
Appreciate that.
And what I'm going to talk to Robin about is the original contract was $2,400 less than that, but there was an error in the paperwork the way it was prepared that didn't include that $2,400 in the contract amount. So when the state gave us 75%, they gave us 75% of the was 76,000 something or 74,000 anyway, whatever. So I got to talk to her about, because it was initially 76,437.30. So the state gave us 75% of that, and if we got to pay we should have got 75% more money from the state, or 75% of 2,400 from the state. So I just want to get that straightened out with Robin, because the state has already put the money in our account.
Yeah, I
57,000,
saw that.
right? So then the rest of it is our matching grant, but if they did the paperwork wrong, we shouldn't have to eat 75 or shouldn't have to eat that extra 2,400. That's my opinion. So I got to talk to Robin about that tomorrow.
And then you guys are going to, I assume, apply again in July.
Oh, definitely.
I talked to Robin about that today. She needs to update the,
Couple small tweaks they gotta make.
yeah,
The
The Phaser.
yeah, that shows Lafayette as a 9 or 10, and
Already brand new.
you know, but nothing's going to change. It's just a matter of getting some stuff updated, and then we'll see when we get to that point, budget wise, where if we can get the money for that. You know, shouldn't what we're going to pave shouldn't be as much as what we paved when we paved Lafayette. You know, so
Correct.
okay,
That's all I've got tonight for the water and the
okay.
CCMG.
Do you want to talk about or do you want me to just talk about
Coming
project
from
2?
you probably.
Okay. So what I had, Commonwealth, I talked to Rob about it when we were having dinner that night, and then I talked to him again. Well, we had a meeting.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
We had a meeting when back on the previous board, you guys had talked about second phase of that water project going out Old 52 to Lakeview, that kind of thing. And but that was not SRF money. That was
That was
Okay.
USDA money. And so USDA wanted each homeowner that was interested in getting water to put some money into an escrow account. And people, they don't have that, you know. But a guy comes by my house and asks me for $1.50 back because he lost it in a coin op. They don't have $400 or $500 to put in an escrow account. So what I've talked to Rob about is now it's not a USDA grant, because USDA had money set aside for us.
They did, but then once you got the 100% grant for
Yeah.
your water
Yeah.
from SRF, you didn't need USDA because we
Yeah.
applied to both
Yeah.
for you guys at that point.
So
Yeah.
what I've talked to Rob about, and Matt and Sean, is going back to the original plan was to go up Old 52 all the way to Lakeview. Okay. But now we're going to expand it a little bit, still up Old 52 to Lakeview, but then up Elm Tree Road to pick up those houses there. And I really want up Kokomo Hill past the water tower, those 7 or 8 houses that are up there to have city water, you know. So this is where Rob sent me a map kind of, you know, circling all the areas, but it didn't come through very well in the
No, it
email,
didn't. I tried.
you know. So, but anyway, basically that's what it is Old 52 to Lakeview, Elm Tree, and then the handful of houses that are above the water tower.
Okay.
So they're gonna start the process on that of gathering information. Sean's gonna help with that and put together a plan. It would be try to hit a March
31st
2026 deadline for
application.
applications, and then it would be awarded, and you know the money would be, if you get it, would be like June or July, and then we'd have the whole bidding process, and you know, so realistically it might be 2027 probably
for construction.
for construction.
At the earliest.
But
Yeah.
you know, and I've talked to some people already about helping me knock on doors. We'll get some flyers out and stuff like that, and it's an issue of, like I told Rob, I said, you know, the naysayers will go, well, they're already buying water because they're hauling it, you know, but it gets to me, it's more a quality of life thing of having steady water pressure, not have to go out at 4:00 in the morning on a sub-zero day to go get water when you can just turn the faucet on. It's going to benefit them from an insurance standpoint,
Fire safety.
fire insurance. We'll have hydrants out there and stuff like that. So it's just going to take some time to figure out how many houses there, get some interest and stuff like that. I'll start with flyers at the water plant where they're buying water and say, hey, if you guys are interested, and hopefully here fairly soon we'll have our town website up and running. People can go to that and we can link to that. So, but
There will be a little bit of an upfront cost.
Yeah.
Sorry. we jumped.
no, that's
No,
fine.
it's okay.
And we're trying to keep it to $40,000
Okay.
$40,000 to cover everybody, Sean and Commonwealth.
And that is, if we're successful in getting the grant, you can wrap that into the closing
Closing.
Yeah.
and get reimbursed.
Yeah.
But town out of pocket up front would be
Yeah.
about $40,000 here in the next several months. So
And then I'm not worried about that because we're flushing
Yeah, we'll be all right.
with water, especially once we get the meter money back. We'll have that no problem. So
So how will you reach those people?
I'm kind of relying on you guys. I mean,
knock on doors.
Knock on
you know-
doors? Is
you
there a
know the
way to
landscape a lot
do
better
like
than
a
we do.
mass mailing or?
it's
think-
gonna be more than, it's gonna
I think
be
it's
that
gonna be
human touch probably.
Knock on doors. And I know I've talked to
I mean-
Dwayne about it because Dwayne lives up in that area and he's volunteered to help, and you
Thanks,
know,
Dwayne.
So we can, the more people you
Yeah.
know, you can
Yeah.
get the word out.
And I know like up on top of Kokomo Hill, Wells is the landscape
Nice.
company up there. Well, no, her name, I met her at the water plant one day and that's where she lives and she's all for it. She'll help however she can. So
Okay.
I think we can recruit some people here in town to help knock on
Yeah.
doors and make this thing happen. You know, and that was the one thing that was, you know, before when I sat there, not up here and listening to, yeah, we haven't got to it yet. Haven't got around to that yet. You know, Pete and Henry hadn't got around to it yet. Hadn't got around to it yet. And it's like, okay, if we're going to do this, okay, then we need to do it. You know, and that's my thing. If we're going to do it, let's do it and make it happen, because it's going to be good for the people of our community. You know, our
Absolutely.
community.
So will our wells adequate enough to handle that many more customers?
Oh, yeah.
Probably going to have to
We won't
have,
run out of water.
No, you won't,
No.
they don't run all the time anyways.
No.
but there probably had to be 2 booster pumps. So that
Yeah.
to be one going up Pocomo Hill and one going out.
It'll be no detriment to the current
Yeah.
community that has water. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, and typically out of town will have to pay a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
And that's
Typically it's 25% is the norm, but again, it's a council decision.
Yeah.
You go up to.
but it's going to offset.
It'd still be under $50 probably.
Dwayne, what do you pay
Yeah.
for every?
It depends, but I mean, I pay $50 a load. And, you know, during that drought, that load lasts me 6 days with my family, so.
Yeah.
And then there's times where I'll go 3, 4 months, 5 months without having it. It just really depends on the water. But you go back to, like I mentioned to you, is the fire insurance. I pay a lot more homeowners insurance for that. And then that, not having to look at my well, and just not telling my kids, get out of the shower, get out of the shower.
Yeah.
There's quality of life is better.
Yeah. And I think it's important.
We've been through so much stuff with that. So.
And then, then we get this done, and then, that doesn't mean we're just going to stop there, because it doesn't mean we can't go out Saints Creek or go out, Laurel Road or Stone Church or whatever. I talked to Ryan Geisling all the time. Our guys are all the time. He hauls water, and he's like, I'd love to have water out there. He lives on Little Duck, so but we gotta.
And one thing this funding agency will require is, I mean, yes, we have a little time, but when we put the application in the end of March, they're gonna want an idea of, hey, are we talking 50 people, 100 people? We're gonna need a fairly accurate number, not to the single person, but get it close.
Well, my
So-
plan is to start it here,
We're in November, so yeah.
before the end
Not
of the
much
month.
long. It's
Yeah.
not much
I know.
time
So
by March.
But I needed to get Commonwealth going on it.
Mhm.
that's what part of the 40 does for us.
Yeah.
Gets us moving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So, good.
perfect. Anything else?
Good stuff.
I got one thing on that. So what, should there be anything done as far as like getting right of way permission or anything before you go for this? In case you end up, having trouble with a property owner in an area, how does that work out?
Well, we're gonna try to put most of this in the line itself will be hopefully an existing county right away.
Mhm.
Is what we typically always try to do first. But,
Cause I don't know if you ever drove these back roads or anything, but
Little
some of the
bit.
areas, you've got a creek that's this far off the road on one side.
yeah,
And then you've got
You're right.
the Spectrum now with fiber line in there. This something.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we pay them guys to do it, because they already look at that.
you're right.
Yeah.
This is not easy terrain to do this stuff in, but typically we take the path that's already there.
Yeah.
And that we're allowed to be in.
Okay.
And then if an individual homeowner doesn't want it, that's up to them. The water line will go by, their house.
You're not required to hook on.
No.
It wouldn't be mandatory.
No, but if they decided, because the way I understand it, we'll bring it to your house as part of the project. Am I wrong about that,
I
or?
don't know that you can go all the way
Okay.
To their house.
to inside, to their meter. We need to determine that still,
To
Yeah.
go to a meter.
to their,
To their meter, and then from that side of the meter to their house is
Yeah.
their
As we
responsibility.
get to that chapter,
Yeah.
depending on who the funding agency
That's
is,
where-
they have different requirements. So when we get there, we'll figure out how far we can take it.
I hate to say I don't know, but I don't know yet because we don't know,
Just depends. Possibly you could.
yes.
But that's something that I'd like to know sooner than later,
Yeah,
because
you can tell
that's going to be the selling
In the flyer,
point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take it all the way into their house.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody have anything else from Matt?
I don't. I think it's a great idea.
Glad to help.
You're excused if you want to leave, or if you want to hang around, you're welcome to stay.
And then take off.
Okay. Moving on then, let's go, let's go do our regular paperwork. Sean will talk, you'll talk when we get to the community center, if that's okay. Or are you trying to get out of here?
No, take your time.
Because I can skip right to the community center.
I think tonight's the wife's night. She's got things planned, so she's like, when are you gonna be home? I said, 9 o'clock. She said, good. She's got
Good.
plans.
All right, so moving to approval of the minutes. Everybody have a chance to read over the minutes? Any additions or amendments that need to be made to that? Okay, so I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say no. Okay. There are no billing adjustments?
No.
Okay. Handwritten claims, I didn't see anything on the handwritten claims that jumped out at me. There were a couple added at the end. Aside from what you guys already had. I had Chris buy 2 blue tarps for protecting the gym floor when it rains, and we lay them out anyway. Those are $40. Eric, can you explain the Mad Tech invoice for 60? Where's that at?
It was right.
I had a Mad Tech invoice for $6,108 of troubleshoot to drive and motor, install a new motor starter and main fuses, motor prep for install, replace motor on blower number 2, worked on pulleys and belts, installed belt and finished up work, electrical tech time, and then materials.
Yes, the blower number 2, the motor had went out.
Okay.
The blower had been replaced. The blower itself it's only a year old, but the
Okay.
motor went out.
Okay.
With that, it burned up the drive. And of course, everything had to be replaced. But
Okay. All right. So other than that, I didn't
No
see any.
warranty on a new blower.
the motor's been there for probably 20 years. The blower
Oh,
itself,
it's
the blower
replaced,
unit
okay.
and the motor are 2 different things. They're connected to the belts.
Got it.
We had for the town cleanup day, we spent $1,455 on 3 dumpsters from Miami Valley. So I need a motion to approve the handwritten claims in the amount of $17,118.31.
Make a motion to approve the handwritten claim.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay.
So where's the money for the,
Oh, for the Miami Valley?
yes,
Well,
Yeah,
soon when
general
we meet with Janet, we'll know where we can take that money out of.
Just take it out of the general fund.
That's what I say. Take it out of the general fund. You okay with that?
Where,
The 1455 for the dumpsters?
out of which section? Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's fine.
there's that money
Okay.
left in the insurance.
That much?
Well, because it was 35, and then we only needed 12,000.
Oh, okay.
So we go with general fund?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, moving on.
And was that, sorry, one more question, on the Mad Tech, was that sewer or water?
That's sewer.
Sewer.
Okay.
How long has it been since we had that project done?
What's that?
Your
Sewer?
project?
To have that kind of a,
Well, the blower was new. The motor was 20 years old, so I'm not sure why
Yeah,
that.
they didn't do anything.
They didn't do any of the blowers.
Had nothing.
That was before my time.
It's 4 or
Okay.
5 years
4
now.
years ago, at least.
It was still going
Right
on when I got
around
back here. So it was 2022 maybe. I know the generator, I think, was
It was part of it.
June of 2022, I
Okay.
think. Okay, so for the computer claims, again, didn't see anything that jumped out at me on that. Right there at the very end, there's $807 to Josh to fix a broken sewer line at the community center. And that's money that I'll get back from Wisdom Hunter. We'll just deduct it from what we owe them because actually Duke Energy
Broke one.
broke the line. They broke that in a little gas line. So they'll fix it, but I
What
need to
gas
get
line?
Josh paid. So
What gas line?
I think it was just a deadline.
We'll talk about that later. Like,
Okay. So the computer claims are $28,081.67. I need a motion to approve the computer claims.
I make a motion to approve the computer claims.
Need a second?
second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. And then finally, the pay file report, it's the same every month, $6,482.
Make a motion to approve the pay file report.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. All right. Jim, didn't really have you working on anything this month?
Nope, just research on the loan.
Yep.
versus Which we
Okay.
corresponded there by email.
Yeah, and that's going in about 19 different directions.
Yep.
Anyway, what I will need is for you to create an ordinance
Okay.
for water and sewer rate increases.
Okay.
And I'll need that before the December meeting so we can read it at the December meeting, post it and read it. And then we'll have the second reading at the January meeting and then put the increases in. Sorry.
It was like a 4%, right?
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for Jim? Okay, moving on. Water and sewer. Eric sent me the inventory of the stuff that's in pump house number 2. So I gotta look at that. I haven't looked at it yet, but I gotta look at it and then we'll sit down and figure out what we need to order to make sure that we're fully stocked in case we have an emergency where we have to replace something. We don't have to go chase down a part. We got it.
And I did message Josh and Les both and asked if they had any input. And they told me a few things. So I've got
Okay.
a pretty good idea of what we're going to need.
Yeah.
But I want to stop out. I guess there's a bunch of pipe at the wastewater plant.
Okay.
So I don't want, if we already have it out there, I don't want to
Yeah.
buy more, you know.
I just want to sit down with you either down at the water plant one day or sewer plant, or you stop by the house and we can make up that list.
Okay.
Okay. And then I thought I had it on the last meeting because Les had called me about a blower needed replaced at the sewer plant. So that answers that question. So everything else all right out there?
The returns got plugged the other day. We had to take a couple valves apart and just pull all the rags out.
Ugh.
It's all part of it. Yeah. I mean, it's just routine maintenance. Things happen. Life happens.
Just had to pull the stuff out.
Yeah, well, I said rags. I mean, that's.
I was
thing
eating
could've- I
breakfast.
could have said a lot worse.
I was
things.
eating breakfast the other day when Les called me and told me that, and I was like, ugh. Thanks a lot, Les. I'm eating breakfast. Don't have to be so descriptive.
Be so
Okay.
delicate.
I have a weak stomach. Any questions for Eric? Any questions for Eric? Okay, moving on. Coin op for September was $2,079.25. And knock on wood, last month was more than that, but it was dry as a bone last month. So, but everything seems to be going good. Chlorine pumps are working right. And
Yeah, I haven't had any issues.
we've got everything
Like I said, except for those,
fittings.
the fittings and then the alarms on Monday.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
Majors.
And I'll get with Jeff Minders tomorrow and tell him he needs, because I've talked to him about it before, tell him he needs to just come back and, yeah, I don't know who keyed that lock. I don't know if it's Mutt or somebody that keyed.
Chlorine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him in there today. You can probably even put the key in.
Yeah. We're going to break it off is what we're going to do. It's just,
Oh,
and it just needs to be taken out and the tumblers fixed and put back in there. So anyway, all right. Fire department.
Thank you.
I see Keith is here tonight. You can go
You're good
wrestle.
to
Go on, get something to eat.
Go wrestle.
I'm done wrestling for the day.
We've
Excellent.
had 17 runs for October, and 170 runs total for the year. Deb mentioned
Thank you, Matt.
Excuse me. Deb mentioned something about checking the hydrants. That's actually the town's responsibility.
Okay,
So we've got, excuse me. We've got gauges upstairs. And I'm sure the town has got gauges too, but, I'll be more than happy to help the water guy out, going around checking.
yeah, and to tag onto that would be nice if we get water up there on Kokomo Hill. You'll have hydrants up there, because I know when you guys were fighting that fire the other day, you're sitting out in front of my house pumping water out of the hydrants, and that's not a good thing when you're trying to put a fire out. So
Get water, that's a hassle.
Okay.
Also, November the 23rd, we got a breakfast over at the firehouse. It's all we need. Free will donation. Ask everybody to put the word out.
Okay. And that's something that once we get the website up, that we can put stuff on our town website about that stuff. So
We had a minor problem with one of the pumper, but I think we got that straightened up. But other than that, everything's been going good.
good. Okay. Anybody have any questions for Keith? All right.
No.
Police department.
Things going good. We all got our firearms qualifications. We finished our 24 hours this next month. And other than that, I need, we got 2 tires on one truck. It's getting bad, and we got 2 on the other. So we want to take 2 good ones and put on one, and then 4 set of 4. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You know. So
other than that, I ain't got anything.
okay. We still towing vehicles. We still putting stickers and towing vehicles.
We did it in October, but
Okay.
I've this black one over here. This truck's got a flat tire forever.
Yeah, that turns out it's Matt.
It don't come back to him.
That's what Randy told me.
Yeah, somebody said that, but it don't come back.
Oh,
Lady that lives in apartments that belongs to the person that lives in apartment number 5 that also owns a white truck that I got moved. So I moved that dumpster.
okay. Yeah, because I talked to Randy about that tonight and said find out who owns it.
Yeah, I'll be tagging it. I
Get
got
it out of there.
information on it Halloween night, so
Yeah.
we'll be tagging it.
Okay.
We'll get some more.
Okay.
But the ones that we tagged, they either moved them or fixed them, so
Good.
worked out pretty good.
Good. Do we still talking about printers for the patrol cars, or do we do something with that?
You already got
Where
those,
it
didn't you?
Yeah, that was on our last pay file report, wasn't it?
Sorry.
But we do want to start looking into getting a grant for car cameras, body cameras.
You try that,
They tried anything yet, so just
the
start looking.
Sinise, Lieutenant Dan,
Gary Sinise.
thank you. He has a,
I got that paper, yeah.
okay, because I got something about that the other day.
Yeah. So we'll start looking into that.
They're also good for fire department too.
And then,
You don't know who Lieutenant Dan is, do you?
No, she doesn't, because she's not watched Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I didn't have one for school.
and then Chris said something about, you said there's a desk at the community center we could get.
We can go take a look at that. And I don't remember how big it is, but
Big
it's
desk.
similar to what you got, and nobody using it. So
We're gonna be doing some renovating. Nothing structural, just
Wow.
You said body cams and what else?
cameras for cars.
That Gary Sinise Foundation also, they're for police departments and fire departments, first responders.
first responder.
So they give grants.
And then I talked to you about the Crown Vic. Let's get it out of
there
here.
you go. Do it tomorrow.
All right. Okay. And I will say, and the police presence in town on Halloween night was awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
That was
It
great.
was good.
Being able to see them guys out there makes a difference.
You know what would shock people is if you got these cars and rode around with us, very seldom do we see each other.
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised at how much you don't pass each other.
A lot of miles you gotta cover in this town.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was good. And thank you for that.
And kudos to people in town, because I told Tracy this first time in 30 years I didn't have anything broken, stolen, or toilet papers or damaged. So
My kids used to tell me that toilet paper in your house was like a sign of respect. If you got your house toilet paper, you were cool, right? Because I used to get mad about it. I'm
I
like,
thought it meant you
no, it's
was.
at least in Arizona, because I had big pine trees in front of my house, and I'd be out there next morning going, get out here and start cleaning up and call your little friends that did it, you know. Anyway, so all right. Anybody have anything for Brad?
Nope.
Okay. Town Park.
I think the park's going good. Now, the memorial, I'm asking that the town return the portion, $2,250 that, the Veterans Memorial paid for, but the town was going to pay for it. But it was, whatever you guys said you would pay for, you didn't say where you was taking it out of.
Yeah.
And she wasn't sure where to take it, so the memorial went ahead and paid for it,
Okay.
so we need reimbursement.
Absolutely. So yeah, we can do that. I thought we'd already talked about where we were going to take it out of, but
It's down in court.
we could take it out of Riverboat. We could take it out of
How much is in Riverboat?
313960.
$3,139.60.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but when you said that, I thought it was
39.
that
39,000.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, 31. Yeah, $3,139.
You can take it out of any of those. You can take it out of capital improvements or general fund or
Well, you need to decide so Nora can put it in the right spot.
take it out of capital improvements. It's an improvement in town, right? That works, Sean?
Is that the 424 count?
14,524.
Yeah. Okay, so just take it out of the
Mm-hmm.
Fund 424 community cap improvements, I guess. I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna
Is that
figure
the
it out.
CCI?
That's
Uh-huh.
Yeah, CCI.
So we'll get that check issued right away.
How much was that again?
2250, 2,250.
So who does that go to, Debbie? To you or to the?
No, the Veterans Memorial goes back into their account for, she has earmark for that.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, there was a write-up in the paper about the memorial, but at the end, it said that we was gonna have we was planning a dedication for Veterans Day. That's not what happened because the memorial didn't get their time to get everybody, speakers and everybody together.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna try for spring sometime.
That'd be good.
And then,
Memorial Day.
that's what Miss Mosey said, Memorial Day.
Yeah. That'd be a great day.
And then, on November the 23rd, the fire department's having a breakfast, but in the evening, a lady, Kathy or Cindy, she was wanting to do, it's photos captured by Cindy, and she's taking pictures of Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus and the kids or family or whatever, and that's November 23rd,
Okay.
from 4 to 6. So,
Okay.
At the fire department.
yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
Pictures with Santa.
yes. And the Grinch will be there serving cookies and hot chocolate too.
Okay.
All right.
And all the money from that benefit, from that will go to the Veterans Memorial, all the proceeds.
Okay.
How are the bricks selling?
Good, we took 24
4 down that should get engraved. They're not finished yet. It said it'd take about a month or so, but we took 24 of them down and we've got 4 more since then. So
I need to get that taken care of. And it's really supposed to, is it any veteran or just local people? Any? Okay. Then I may buy 2.
How much are they?
$85.
Okay. Anything else for Deb?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on to the community center. Oof. The bane of my existence right now. Rentals for October were $1,065. And it's picking back up. November and December weekends are almost full. And pickleball's back to playing 8 times a week. The community center project, I'm hoping is going to be done by the end of this month. The last big item they had to do was pave it. Did they stripe that too, or did they just pave it?
They did not stripe it yet. I would
Yeah.
think they would probably wait a minute to do that. I have no idea if that's in the plans.
I just got to make sure they do that, and then I'm real curious as to how it drains. You know, to making sure it doesn't drain back towards the doors.
I didn't want to do it while it's still hot, but as I told you, if
Yeah.
you want to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to rain Friday, so we can maybe get an idea. Rush Hospital is no longer interested in opening a health clinic. Them guys just backtrack completely on everything they said they wanted to do. And so I had a meeting with them. John Palmer and I had a meeting with them, and you know, they just, like I said, they just backtracked on everything that they had originally agreed to. So moving on, it's called Neighborhood Health Clinic. There's one in Connersville. I know there's one in Liberty. You know, so I have a meeting with those guys Thursday afternoon to possibly occupy that space that we have for the health clinic. And Kathy met the one lady I'm going to meet with up at Gleaner's thing regarding the food pantry, and she already does something with Gleaners too. When they have people that come in and have health issues and stuff like that, they can order food from Gleaners specifically to meet their health requirements, you know, food requirements for their health. So I think we can, because we have the pantry there and we're affiliated with Gleaners, that we could loop both of those together. If they're not interested, then I'm going to move on to Margaret Mary or Reed or somebody. But, you know, Rush just made it like, they weren't going to make any money, which that's not true. And that they were going to have to invest a bunch of it. And, you know, they had said, well, what we thought we were going to do was you guys are going to rent our staff and then you guys were going to do the billing and stuff like that. I'm like, where'd you get that idea?
Yeah.
You know, and John Palmer was just sat there. He was stunned. He had no idea. And so it's obvious, you know, what they wanted to do is take their big Class A RV that they got set up as a 2-room clinic and park it out there in the back on the asphalt. But you're going to need to put a 50 amp 220 outlet out there. I already spent probably $70,000 or $80,000 on that room. I'm not spending any more money, you know, and I just flat out told them we're not spending any more money. So I haven't talked to them since that meeting, and we're just moving on. So I'll keep you guys abreast how the meeting goes Thursday with the Neighborhood Health Center. The other issue, not a new issue, is a roof replacement. Okay, and that's why Sean's here tonight, because he's been helping me on it, trying to find funding for that. You know, we're looking at to replace the roof, which is what I think needs to be done. Take it all the way down to the deck and put a new insulation and everything on top of it, is $198,000. Okay, so in talking with the guys at First Financial, you know, they were like, well, we'll take the big chunk of money that we got in the sewer plant, put that in an interest-bearing CD, and then use that to guarantee the loan for the roof. And State Board of Accounts said, not so fast on that. And I agree with them, because if we were to default on the loan, then that month the bank would take that CD, and then we spent utilities money on not a utility project. So then we talked about, well, what if we just made the community center the utilities building, and then each, the food pantry and the community center, paid a rent, but that doesn't work, So we're back to getting a mortgage on the building, and Sean that's why I had Sean come tonight, ask him to come tonight, was he can explain the pilot program.
So when we talked about how do we pay the note on this mortgage, so you're gonna service it out of the general fund. Well, with SEA 1 coming along, you're gonna wind up getting less money from property taxes to the town and into your general fund. So that in and of itself says it's gonna be hard to draw more funds out of that to pay this debt. And so if you go $150,000, $200,000 a year, you go 10-year mortgage, you're probably somewhere in the $20,000, $30,000, $35,000 a year that you're gonna have to pay on this. So it's like, okay, where can we get these? What are the options of getting these funds? So one of the things we talked about, well, I'll start with one thing. One of the things you can do is the town can issue a general obligation bond. There's a lot of overhead with that. There's a lot of issuance costs with that. So we would pass on that and go to the next option, which would be implementing a pilot. And what pilot is, our acronym, it stands for payment in lieu of taxes. And per Indiana code, each of the utilities can pay a pilot. And what a pilot is if you think about your water treatment plant, it's sitting on property. There's no home sitting on that property. If there were homes sitting on that property, it would pay property taxes. And it would pay property taxes for the services that were around, fire and police and everything else. And so they put in Indiana code that said, hey, because you've got this here, you can do a pilot and do some calculations. We would need the latest assets that you recently put on your books. We calculate what's called utility plan service, and there's some things from that would fall down, but we would calculate a number and say, this is a authorized pilot up to this number. And that's one of the few ways that you can transfer funds from your utility into your general fund. So it's, your utility funds are called enterprise funds, and you got to keep everything within that fund. And there's very few ways to commingle funds, like we were just talking about earlier. One of the authorized ways is a pilot. And so for the pilot, you would determine what the pilot is. It would become part of your revenue requirements. So it would have a rate impact, have a potential rate impact. We'd have to calculate that. And then you would have to put those rates in effect. But what it would allow you to do is mid-year and end of year, you can effectively transfer. So I don't know what the number is, but let's say it was 30,000. Mid-year, you can transfer 15,000. End of year, you can transfer 15,000 from
Those
whatever utility
utilities.
to the general fund. And then the money you transfer can be used for any authorized purpose that you would normally use the general fund for. So you could use those funds to service debt on a new roof, as an example.
So this pilot wouldn't have to go through the county. It wouldn't have to go through
No,
DGL.
It's all with your authorization. So what you would do is you would put another revenue required on your utility. We would calculate that, and we already did your rates. So those things are already really fresh in our mind. So we could say this is what your pilot would have to be. If you split it between water and sewer as an example, and again, we're just talking rough numbers. If we split between water and sewer, if the total debt service for the year was 35,000, you're talking like 15,000 per utility transfer over into a fund that you would set up, and then you would service the debt from that fund out of you, that you set up within your general fund. So that's the concept. That's one,
how we would pay for it. We'd still have to do the bank to get the
Yes.
money. I
yes,
think
still
that's
do
a
the
great
bank,
idea.
do the mortgage.
Because we have the money, but we can't never access it because
So there's one other authorized way to move money from a utility to the general fund. And that's something I would talk to your town attorney about, but you would have to declare those excess funds. You'd have to put it in an unrestricted cash reserve account. You'd have to sit in that account for a period of time. If it's not used for that period of time, then we could do a one-time movement over. There's some legalese associated with that, but again, if the town council wanted to take a look at that, that would be something that we would talk about. And you'd have to just set up some funds. You'd have to designate a certain number. You'd have to make sure you meet all your debt service reserve requirements too, because any debt that you got outstanding, you got to make sure you manage your funds such that you cover all those covenants and those bond ordinances and such. But that's a second way to do it. But I think the pilot is probably the next easiest way.
I
to
like
implement
that
something like
idea.
So
I think that's a great idea.
I've given Sean, Brad, First Financial's information, and they're gonna talk back and forth, and then I'll get you what
Yeah.
information you need
Yeah. So
as best I can.
The first domino to fall here would be what's in the box. So what's the scope? Because we put on a new roof, and we say, okay, but really let's make sure we got the total project cost factored in. So like if you're gonna have a dumpster out there, if you're gonna have somebody else that's gonna do painting or any other skilled trades out there, let's make
Right.
sure we got that number down. You had like 198, so we say 200. That way I can start talking brass tacks with your bank and say, okay, what kind of terms do you have? And we can kind of work those details out.
Because 198 is, and I'll give you the proposal that I got from Schomels. It's it's basically they're contracted to do the work, so that if they need a dumpster, they get a dumpster, that kind of thing. So basically, at the end of the day, it's done, and we give them a check for 198, and hopefully their warranty sticks up. But because we had Becky and I sit down with a different roofing company last night, and they had a number that was around 155, but it wasn't the same roof. It was kind of
It was resurfacing.
resurfacing the roof, so it was like
replacing
a big Band-Aid over the Band-Aids that we already put on it. And when I talked to Alex Schomel today, he wasn't a big fan of that. It was just like a Band-Aid, and it only had I think a 15-year guarantee, where the roof we're talking about's got a 25-year guarantee on it. And who knows? Will it last 25 years? I think that roof up there that's theirs, probably 25 years old, and we've been fixing it for the last 5 or 6 years that I know of. So it just needs to be done. It's like, the other night, we put tarps down on the gym floor to keep the water from going in, and then Chris and I were in there with big garbage cans trying to funnel the water that leaked in the hallway into one, and I'm laying there in bed trying to think of if we could put some sort of pan up underneath there with a piece of PVC pipe that ran down into it, so at least it ran straight into the garbage can and not all over the floor.
Ranger does have tarps with they're designed to tie up to your rafters like in an industrial setting that have a connection.
I'll have to look into that.
So back
Been
to
there,
this
done that.
Yeah.
pilot, then how long would it take to set this up to where we can?
It would not take us long to run the pilot. Really, the dominoes is, let's get the total cost. Let's get the total cost to your banker. Have your banker say, based on your relationship with him, what kind of rates are we talking about here?
Yeah.
What's the term? We're talking 10 years is at least where we started at, because
Right.
that made the number manageable. So
Yeah.
it'd be something like that. I don't know what interest rates would be, 6-7%. Again, depends on the relationship with the town.
Right.
He would run an amortization schedule and say, this is how much you'd have to pay every month, blah, blah, blah. And we would say, this is your annual number. And then we would back calculate, we take that number, back calculate, say, can we get that out of a pilot? And I think the number's reasonable. We probably could, but it all starts with that first total project cost. And
Okay.
it would take a couple weeks. I don't know if we might be able to get it by the next council meeting, an estimate of, hey, we think this is what we think your pilot could do. From a pilot perspective, we would just update your rate ordinance to include a pilot in it. And then you would introduce rates like you would
Yeah.
do anything else. Like you would, like you're getting ready to do now. You would introduce rates, schedule your public hearing, open public hearing, hear feedback, close public hearing.
So with that being said, we talk about rates, is that, because I just asked Jim to make an ordinance for a rate increase, and we had talked, it's going to be 4%, I think was kind of a round number where we're at. We need to make that 5%.
Don't know. We're gonna have to run the numbers and see where it's at. I've got some guesses, but
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't want
they're
you to
just
guess.
educated guesses.
Yeah.
So if I throw a number out, it sticks. And
Yeah.
Wait, I thought you said the number was
Oh, I know.
5%.
Yeah.
But so I would say number one is, do you want me to? If you want me to continue to pursue this, I'll pursue this, and I'll stay engaged with you, and I'll let you know how this is evolving. I'll copy you on the conversations as they evolve. And, I'll try to push it such that we can have next council meeting, you have an idea. You need 5%, you need 10%. What is that number?
Right. So do we want to make a motion to have Sean continue working on it, or?
So really what this amounts to is people's water rates are going to go up
Yes.
to pay for the roof on the community center.
You can make that connection. I would say they're gonna go up to pay for the pilot that the town implements. That money will get transferred to the general fund. Now, the council can decide what they want to do with that money. So, you could make that connection. I don't know if I go that far. I would just say, you're authorized to implement a pilot on utilities. We're gonna authorize that code and implement pilots.
But that's what it boils down to.
So we need to have a number
Yeah.
of what that rate increase would be.
Right.
Right.
And so that's the process.
And we won't know until we
When
tell
it
Sean to
happens.
continue working on it.
But I always say, if you don't do that, then, you gotta do something. So what's the next? The other option you can do is issue what's called a general obligation bond. And a general obligation bond, when you look at your budget, your annual budget, I don't think you have any debt service line. And you can have a debt service line up to 25 cents per $100 of assessed value. But then everybody's property tax goes up by that amount until they hit the circuit breaker. And the issue with the general obligation bond is, and we try to keep the issuance costs as low as we can, but typically issuance cost is around like $50,000. And, we can arm wrestle and try to get down to $35,000 or $40,000, but that's still a big number when you look at your total assessed value. The amount that you can issue through a general obligation bond and stay below that 25 cent per $100 of assessed value is probably only $100,000 or $150,000. And then you're tapped out at your ability to tax anything further than that. So if you did really have an emergency, that would no longer be an
Right.
option.
I called the Indiana Bond Bank and they said that what we need isn't significant for what
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
do. So, and he told me we'd be better off talking to a local bank.
Yeah.
So one thing, our rainy day fund, we have a line item, rainy day fund, but we don't put any money. Could we take whatever unencumbered money that we've not used and put that into the rainy day fund and use that money to pay for the roof?
Yeah, if you got funds residing within the general fund, and again, probably the best person, the expert on the general fund is Jen Alexander, which I know you're getting ready to talk to.
Okay.
Right.
I would say that's a perfect question for Janet to ask her if there's, because again, what you may wind up doing is she might say, you know what, you guys have got $50,000 in your general fund. I would recommend you take $50,000, put it down on this loan, and then only finance $150,000, and then keep your pilot as low as you can. That's like an option.
Okay.
But she knows every line. She knows what you could spend out of every budget.
Yeah.
And just as a sidebar, her and I have presented at communities before. She always takes the general fund, always take the utilities.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we back and forth.
Because I don't think we utilize our full budget. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we
Yeah.
say that we put money here and we put money there, but I don't think we ever spend it all like we're supposed to. So, or we over budget, like for insurance, in the line item, she had 35,000 for insurance and it was only 12. So,
Well, that's called fiscal responsibility. So that means you're doing a really good job.
and that kind of money, so then it just sits there. And if we don't spend it, I've always heard that if you don't spend it, then you lose it, more or less. They
No.
won't.
We talked about that early on, and that's I'll call that Janet Alexander 101. It's
Okay.
not, if you don't spend it, you lose it. If you don't spend it, you're being fiscally responsible. You can keep it, and then the next year you can keep it, and then you can save that up. And if something happens, for example, you can put that in your rainy day, and when something happens, you say, hey, we're gonna hit the rainy day. This is something we need.
Okay, yeah.
And Janet Alexander is a lady I talked to today that Nora's actually been talking to her
Okay.
associate.
Oh,
And
cool.
so we're gonna, Nora's gonna email her and get her some information,
Okay.
and then she's gonna come down here on a Monday,
Perfect.
and we can sit down and go through all this and understand everything, where everything goes, and that's her specialty. So
So I think we ought to at least check into the pilot to see what
What the art of the
what
possible.
numbers we're looking at
Yeah.
and everything.
I don't know. The other thing I worry about is when they get down that there's not going to be more problems. They peel that back and it's like, oh, well, you're going to have to pay to get this part of it done. We didn't realize that was underneath there.
Yeah, that is definitely a risk, and that's why my first comment is we need to really understand total project cost, because when we finance this thing, that's what we're gonna get our arms around. So if you get hit with another $25,000, it's like, where do we squeeze that from?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more than 198,000.
Well, whole construction, theirs was 215.
Yeah.
But they did thermal imaging on it too, so, and they said that there wasn't any wet spots
Yeah.
or whatever underneath it.
well, and that's why when I talked to Alex, that's why they were going to take it all the way back down and replace the insulation, because they saw wet or assumed it was wet. So the bottom line is, do we want to authorize Sean to continue working on?
I say yes.
Yes, I agree. What do you say?
Is it going to cost us?
It'll cost you. I'll wrap it in. We talked about the amp that's due March 31st, and it'll be less than $2,000. So I'll just wrap it into that.
I think that sounds great.
Okay.
I
I
just
make a
have an
motion.
issue with making somebody's water bill go up. I really do.
Well, here's just a general idea, because I work in a lot of communities, and it's really around SEA 1. So if you think about SEA 1 and how that's going to impact the average resident. So today there's a certain, I think of it like this. Today there's a certain financial burden on that resident, okay? SEA 1 starts rolling out next year, and it's going to wind up reducing taxes. It's going to wind up reducing the amount of money that the town has. So the town consequently is going to have to reduce services unless they find other revenue sources to bring it back up whole. But if you think about Joe taxpayer here, his financial burden is here, and SEA 1 is going to drop his burden down to here. Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm talking, that's his financial burden. So that's his taxes, his water bill, his sewer bill, his stormwater bill, the whole thing. So SEA 1 is going to say, hey, he's going to drop my burden here. If you don't do anything, you got to offer less services. And so a lot of towns I talk to, like, Sean, what can we do to generate revenue so that we can provide the services that we used to provide? And I'm like, well, you could do a pilot, but what happens to a pilot? It puts that burden back onto it. So the goal is, how do we net that back out? So the financial burden is the same. They pay for it. They just pay for it in different ways.
And then the biggest thing that I said is how important is that building to the town? Right?
It's used.
And You know,
Mhm.
it's, I'm in there every day. You know, I see people come in with their kids and they look at the pictures on the wall and there's grandma, there's great grandma. So if we were to lose that building, not be able to use that building because the roof leaks, or we lose that gym floor, you know, or I got to sweat every time it rains. You know, the one of the rooms that we remodeled for the library already has 6 or 7 ceiling tiles that have come down because of water running through there. So, replacing the roof's not an option. It has to be done. You know, and
Well, now, if I understand this correctly, we get somebody in there to do the medical part of it. They will pay rent to us,
yeah,
correct?
Yeah.
So that will help a little bit, you know. But and I understand how important the community center is.
but they're also the people, the rent that they're going to pay is, you know, maybe $1,000 a month. You know, it's not going to be a big sum of money,
That's more than what you got now.
No, but then you got to, okay, well, now the electric is increased because they're in there 2 times a week, and you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to help, obviously going to help, you know, but you can't lose the use of the community center. It's too important to this town to have that.
I don't think we're voting on right now just to go ahead and say, yeah, do it.
Take a look.
We're
Yeah. Because we don't know
Right,
what.
and I,
just,
I understand that.
take a
Yeah.
look
But I
and
just,
see what our
You
options
know, I
are.
just wanted to see
Yeah.
what that cost was going to be.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to be water. It could be sewer. Our sewer rates are
Yeah. Yeah.
great right now.
Okay, I make a
So-
motion for you to go ahead.
Divide and conquer.
need a
We'll see
second.
what it's
One
got.
And
second.
it's
All in
it's
favor,
tough.
say aye.
But I tell you what, it's gonna get tougher with SEA one coming. I'm telling you, AIM just had a webinar. It was called Creative Financing Solutions for SEA one. And it was given by Reedy Financial, and Reedy's very good. And they were going down to the point of your city hall. You really need to take a look at the square footage of your city hall and allocate your phone costs, your internet costs, and allocate those out to your utilities to get that cost out of the general fund and put it into your utilities. Because they were like, one way is just, what can we unload out of the general fund to free up as much money to provide those services? And so, there's some really, sharpening your pencil and figuring out how to do that. Some other towns I work in the general fund, as an example, I think when you talk about police, they talk about body cams and printers for police cars, and they say, okay, we want to do a capital plan. Those items we think are capital, so we're going to take capital, anything that we think is capital in our general fund, we're going to take out and put it on a capital plan, and that's going to free funds up in our general fund for other things. In our capital plan, we are paid by issuing these general obligation bonds. And so those towns that are a little bit bigger, you need at least 30 million gross assessed value to be able to get about $300,000 to do these general funds. And normally you'd roll those over every 3 years, so it's really like $100,000 a year that you could pay these capital things each year, but you keep them out of that general fund. And so that's another strategy that towns, towns are already thinking about this. I've implemented 3 pilots so far in the last 3 months. I've implemented 3 pilots, and these same conversations are there. It's just like, we don't want to increase the burden on water rates, but it's like, well, if you don't do that, then you got to reduce the number of patrols that you have in your police car. We got to hold on to our police car another 2 or 3 years and not buy a new one. Those are the tough decisions that are coming.
And I think it would be different if our water system worked the way it is supposed to work, the way it was presented to us. And it hasn't worked right since day one. I know that I'm paying more than I should be paying. There's no way my husband and I use 4,600 gallons of water
That's a lot of water.
a month. There is no way.
You got a leak.
Nope. And it's
Have you
been
had
that
it
way
checked?
the last 3 or 4 months. It's starting to go down. And Donna said it's starting to level out. Is that what she called it? Level out. It shouldn't,
Yeah, that's a mom and dad and 3 kids there. It's 4,600 gallons. A
You have a
month.
leaky toilet?
Nope.
Yeah.
Last month it was over 8,000 gallons. Yeah. So
Is your meter? Have they checked your
You may have-
meter?
Eric, go by and look at your meter.
or you can have Josh come and look at it.
Well, we
But
pay Eric
wouldn't
for
it,
that.
but if it was leaking, wouldn't Donna or Nora get notification? Don't they still get that?
Well, you get that, don't you, Tracy?
Yeah, whether they look at it or not, I don't know.
Well, and I came in and I talked to Donna. So I'm just saying, I hate to see those rates go up when this isn't fixed yet. And that's why I hate to see water go up. I mean, that's important that water goes up those other roads, but not until this gets fixed first. We've had this for how many years, Becky? A long time.
The
It was
meters? Is that what
during
you're talking
COVID,
about, the
yes.
meters? Yeah.
And it's still not right.
Yeah.
And to me,
Are those issues being addressed? I mean, this is the first time I've heard you've got a problem with it. I thought the meters were all working well. I thought they were all running
Not all of
properly.
them have been working.
So it's still,
uh-huh. And that's been since, huh?
Ours is real high too.
We had 1 month where it jumped up for no reason. But
Since COVID, I think, because we met at the community center. So we could all spread out. So that's,
Well, I would talk to your engineer. You've got some really good engineers here. Like 8,000 gallons. There's no way a family of 2 is paying should be consuming 8,000 gallons. They should be.
Yep.
They should be watering a garden or filling up a swimming pool. That amount.
so anyway.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
All right. Well, I'll stay
thank
in
you,
touch with
Sean,
you. Yeah, my
very
pleasure.
much.
Well,
We're going home, wherever you go home to.
all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thanks,
your
Sean.
time.
I'll be talking to you.
All right.
Okay, health and safety.
The one family that I had a letter delivered to, they took advantage of the dumpster day. And so I was real glad to see that. That's all I got.
Have we handed out any more?
Mm-mm.
Are we gonna?
Nope, probably not till spring.
Why?
People can't get out and mow.
All about cleaning garbage up and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
I mean, drive down Jackson Street. That's a mess. I don't think we can just stop because it's cold outside, you know. I know you guys had talked about having a meeting after this meeting, but Danielle's not here, and she wanted to be in it, so we need to reschedule that. But, you know, I think it needs to be ongoing to get these people to clean up their properties and haul off their garbage. Yeah, the weeds and the mowing, okay, those are gonna go away with just the change of seasons, but it doesn't, you know, when somebody comes to the
Yeah,
dumpster
I
day,
understand.
you
I
know.
understand. Go ahead.
so. Anything? Okay. Streets and roads,
Already talked about them.
yep, and I'm gonna get with Chris.
I've got a little bit if you want to talk about that, so we can maybe get it to the point where we get a quote by the next meeting. So
That's what I said. I will have a count and a cost of new speed limit signs by the end of next week, and we'll present it at the board for
Okay.
the December meeting. So we'll get that done. Okay. Clerk.
I took a virtual series today that what he was talking about, the SEA one. It talks about the changes, and I got one on Thursday that has different things for the clerk. So you probably saw that on the claims. The website is kind of long. I've been able to do some testing in it and add some minutes and do pop-up boxes and stuff. So now they're working on the calendar for the community center to put like maybe a form that'll, if they select a day and want to know, then it shoots an email to you, so you can get back with them. So we're just started that part of it, and it should be testing pretty soon.
Okay. And then once we get to the calendar, I'll probably gonna have to re-enter all that stuff in there.
Yeah, so once
forward.
like you approve it or whatever, then we'll go in and enter it on the calendar.
Okay.
To
'Cause
show
I
that
have-
it's-
But it's not up and running yet.
No, it's still in testing phase.
Cause I have the rest of November and almost the whole month of December booked already for weekends and stuff like that. So I want to get that on there. Okay. We have any water turnoffs or anything like that?
No, with Donna being out, we haven't ran off
Okay.
the list.
All right. Anybody have anything else for Nora?
No, other than the whole rainy day fund thing.
Right.
If we can look into that to put
When we
money.
talk to Jen, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, talk to
Sean
Janet.
mentioned a lady named Janet Alexander, and Nora's been,
Mhm,
it's kind of funny because she was talking to
mhm.
her partner, her associate Susie, and I was talking to Janet. So Nora's going to get her some information so that she can look at our 2026 budget, and then essentially we're going to have a meeting here on a Monday afternoon to go over everything, because that's what she was a clerk treasurer for 16 years and specializes in that stuff. That's what her company does, and come down here so we can fully understand and get comfortable with where the money is, where it comes from, where we can spend it.
Perfect.
So, okay. Old business. The only thing sticking out there is the modular home down there on Edgerton, and they get letters sent to them from the attorney, and they just ignore the letter. So, I'm not sure where we're going to go with that yet, but I got another meeting, planning commission meeting on a week from tomorrow, and I'll try to have more information. So, moving on, new business. Anybody have any new business? Okay.
I need a request for a permit to build on the empty lot next to 116 Conwell, the old mortuary, the lot next door.
Okay.
I have the plans. We're going to build a 40 by 60 pole barn now, long ways on the lot back towards the unknown street. Current use will be personal for me and my grandmother who owns the lot. And then since the lot is separate from my house, we're setting the barn up in a position that in the future, if we sell the lot, it will still be a buildable lot given somebody would like to put a home in front of it.
So where are you building it?
On-
Where, I know
on
how close
Kelly.
to the alley? Are you moving
Uh,
it back close to the
We'll be
alley
back
or?
close to the alley. County told us back in the building would only have to be 5 foot off. I'll probably pull 15 foot off of. They gave us 6 foot on either side of the building on property, even though we are property owners on both sides of the lot. We own the 3 there and 25 foot off of Conwell, but we'll be back to the lot anyway.
I don't have a problem with that. You?
Mm-mm.
Good.
No.
Okay, so I didn't catch your name.
Ryan Bardish.
So your grandma's Jean,
Yes.
so she's the one that owns a lot of properties in town?
Yes.
How do you spell your last name?
BARTISH. Yes, we haven't had any really property management for us. We own a lot of properties in Metamora as well. I stepped away from my job earlier this year. I work full-time on properties in Metamora and properties here. Chris has helped me a lot cleaning up the Lafayette house. And a lot of that, she's getting older in age. We're liquidating a lot of stuff. So I currently work full-time on maintenance of these properties and getting everything liquidated, and everything in the coming years will be either fixed or sold.
Perfect.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve Ryan Bardish to go to the county and get a building
Okay,
permit
go on
for.
with it, because it's just down the street from me. I live on the other corner.
Our
the White
grandma
House.
used to run the mortuary.
On the other corner,
Baltimore Street, big white house on the corner.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so how big is this?
40
It's gonna
by
be
60.
a pole
It's a 40
barn,
by 60 pole barn, to be 12-foot ceilings, interior, so however tall exterior building. Would
okay,
be probably dark charcoal with a black roof, something neutral to just blend for anybody. We'll use the building for storage and personal. I'll move a couple of my cars that are sitting out on my lot, probably into the building. And then, like I said, I'll either buy the building from her when I wrap it into all the properties either into my house, or we wanted to set it up to future-proof it for any future use if somebody wanted to buy the lot and build a house in front of it.
Because you live in the old mortuary right now.
Yes. And it looks rough. I mean, it's outside still. The inside is almost renovated.
I spent,
Exterior is just a lot of money and a lot of time.
I spent a lot of time in that place as a kid. My
It's a
grandma,
beautiful house.
my grandma used to run the mortuary. So,
I don't have a problem.
okay. So I need a motion to allow Ryan Bardish to go to Brookfield to get a building permit from the county for a 40 by 60 pole barn.
Make a motion.
I second it.
Any, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Do you need
So
a
you'll
letter
have
from
to get-
us?
Yeah, you'll have to get a letter from Nora
Yes.
to take down there. Yeah.
And Caitlin shouldn't have a problem with it down there. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
anything else? Open floor?
Now I know who to come to.
Yes.
Anything else?
No,
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned.
So you're
Thank
getting
you
good
guys for
stuff
coming.
there?
Oh, well, everybody was dead before they got there.